Coming up on NewsWatch Ole Miss, Double Decker took Oxford by storm this weekend. We've got an update on all the festivities. And Vice President Kamala Harris tested positive for COVID-19, and the CDC has approved a drug to treat COVID in kids. Find out more coming up. And a $44 million deal made by Elon Musk, the owner of yet another company, but this one is a bit different from his others. Stay tuned for more. NewsWatch Ole Miss starts now. Good evening and welcome to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Kennedy Cooper. The Oxford Square was packed Friday and Saturday for Double Decker Arts Festival. NewsWatch reporter Anna Caroline Baker was there to catch all of the action. Anna Caroline.
It was a fun and chaotic weekend here in Oxford, with the city estimating over 100,000 people visiting the square in celebration of the 25th annual Double Decker Music and Arts Festival. Double Decker 2022 was a success after a long-awaited return this weekend, with musical performances from bands like Happy Landing and The Revivalists, and various artists showcasing their hard work, like Brian Manis from Midtown Glasswork in Memphis, Tennessee. Needless to say, there was something for everyone here this weekend.
I've been doing glass for about 30 years. Took stained glass in college as a joke. Ended up falling in love with it. Frank Lloyd Wright is my biggest inspiration in the glass work that I do.
Manis was one of the many artists here on the square this weekend, only rather than creating his art through paints and canvases, he uses stained glass, a long and tedious process with beautiful results.
Alright, so this is a fused glass piece. I fuse everything flat, melt all the pieces of glass together, flat, and then I slump it. So each one of these pieces is about 27 hours in a kiln. The traditional windows, those take, like the Sunset took about 22 hours to make.
To see more of Manis's stained glass pieces, be sure to check out Midtown Glassworks on Facebook. And to see more of this past weekend's festivities, visit doubledeckerfestival.com or their Instagram at doubledeckerart. I'm Anna Caroline Barker, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Thanks, Anna Caroline. And Oxford will again be packed to capacity with visitors next weekend for graduation. NewsWatch reporter Anna Kate Boyd has a look at the impact on families and local hotels.
Graduation is around the corner and some families are struggling to find a place to stay. 2022 graduate Kathleen Grennan says it's been a very difficult process.
And we're staying at the Courtyard in Tupelo, so it's already like an hour drive. And we have to get here early to find seats, so it's just really hard.
Hotels in Oxford are nearly completely booked for graduation weekend, and most have been reserved for over a year to avoid last-minute price increases. Director of Sales Amanda Hudgens at Home 2 by Hilton says they've been booked since the end of last year.
We are completely booked for graduation. We did start opening it up last May. So we do 53 weeks out where you can do reservations.
I'm here on Jackson Avenue, which is a hot spot for many hotels. And with most of them being booked, the Quality Inn is offering a waiting list.
We put them in order on this form that we have, and whenever someone cancels, we just call the next person in line.
Airbnbs are also hard to come by, and the prices ranging from $300 to over $1,000 per night. Property owner Ray J. Morgan says his rental has been booked far in advance from graduation.
The family from Texas is coming the week of graduation, and they're booked for a couple of days before graduation and a couple of days after graduation. So, and yeah, it's been booked for almost a year.
If you plan on coming to graduation in Oxford, plan ahead and stay in surrounding areas to avoid high prices, and experts say to book soon for next year. Anna Kate Boyd, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Graduation festivities begin a week from today with the Sally McDonald Barksdale Honors College ceremony on May 4th at 7 p.m. The different schools have their ceremonies throughout the end of next week and into next weekend. Thursday, we'll see graduations for the School of Pharmacy and the School of Law, as well as the Graduate School Doctoral Hooding ceremony. Friday's events last all day, beginning with the Business School, the Education School, the College of Liberal Arts Master Program, the School of Business Administration, and the School of Journalism and New Media. The official university convocation event will be Saturday, May 7th at 8 a.m. in the Grove. Graduations on Saturday include the School of Accounting, Engineering, and General Studies. Finally, the weekend will wrap up with the College of Liberal Arts and the School of Applied Sciences on Sunday. You can find the schedule at commencement.olemiss.edu. And if you want to get tested for COVID-19 before leaving Oxford for the summer, we've got news for you. The university is offering free symptomatic and asymptomatic COVID test semester. To get tested, you can text 2020 to 883-991-3009 and fill out the testing intake form. You should get a confirmation number to take with you to the testing site. You can go to Depot of any sort in its opening testing hours during the week. The site is open from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. on weekdays. This upcoming Saturday, testing is available from noon to 4 p.m. and next Friday, testing is opening from noon to 4 p.m. as well. Vice President Kamala Harris has tested positive for COVID-19 this morning. The Vice President is not experiencing any symptoms and has not been in contact with President Biden since an April 18th event at the White House. She left for California that same day. Her last public event was in California last Thursday, and she arrived in Washington, D.C. last night. The Vice President is fully vaccinated and will isolate and work from home. And in good pandemic news, a new drug has been approved to help kids under 12 with COVID-19. CNN's Mandy Gaither has the story.
It's the first COVID-19 treatment approved for children under 12. The antiviral drug remdesivir, an injection, can now be given to children as young as 28 days, weighing about 7 pounds, if the child is hospitalized or at high risk of getting severely sick. The number of new COVID-19 cases among U.S. children grew nearly 12% last week from the week before, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. Nationwide, new cases are trending up in about 3/4 of U.S. states.
Treatments are really the next phase of this pandemic.
The U.S. has now purchased 20 million treatment courses of another antiviral, Paxlovid. It's a pill that can be taken at home, but is only approved for those 12 and older weighing at least 88 pounds who test positive and are at high risk for severe COVID-19.
We want to make this therapeutic widely available to all Americans so people stop getting, particularly sick or dying once they get infected, if they get infected.
When Paxlovid was first authorized in December, the pills were in short supply. Now, a top U.S. health official says pharmacies across the U.S. will soon be able to order the drug directly from the government.
We've got to be ready if Mother Nature throws another curveball at us.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
There are efforts to educate U.S. doctors on the benefits of Paxlovid in the hopes that more people can benefit from the drug. Local COVID-19 cases are remaining low. The university is reporting 6 active cases. They break down into 1 student, 4 staff, and 1 faculty member. Statewide, the Mississippi Department of Health is reporting 321 new cases, but from a 4-day period from Friday until Monday. Parking changes are coming to campus this fall. Commuters, faculty, staff, and pavilion garage pass holders will only need their license plate at their parking permit instead of a decal or a hanging tag. Residential permit holders will continue to use hang tags or decals. The Transportation Department is introducing a Ole Miss branded vanity plate for the front of the vehicle for those who like to back in their parking spaces. Those go on sale this summer. Parking permit holders will be allowed to register up to 2 cars to an account to avoid switching tags onto their other car. Parking registration will begin July 5th for faculty and staff, and student permit holders will be able to apply from July 11th through 21st, depending on their category. If you're looking for something to do tonight, An American in Paris is coming to the Ford Center tonight. The showing is part of a national tour. It will start at 7:30 p.m. This Broadway series showcases post-war Paris where romance is in the air and youthful optimism reigns. The play is also the winner for 4 Tony Awards. You can find tickets on the Ford Center's website. And in somber news, the university's annual memorial service will be held this Thursday at 4 p.m. at the Paris Yates Chapel. The traditional ceremony will honor members of the Ole Miss family who died over the past year. 26 community members will be honored at the event. ASB President Lila Osman, Staff Counselor President-elect Deidre Willie, and Faculty Senate Chair Daniel Durkin will read the names of those remembered. The university's string quartet will provide musical accompaniment. All members of the Oxford Lafayette community will be invited to attend. Coming up on NewsWatch, Twitter is under the ownership and fighting in Ukraine continues. We'll have more news for up next. But first, here's a look at the current weather conditions.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere will bring us wireless emergency alerts. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
On October 15, 2017, 2 words changed the course of history. The words we wrote that day are a part of a longer and even more powerful history.
The wounds become scars.
Things are changing. We really need everyone's voices.
Today, we all have a chance to write another chapter, powered by everyday activism as simple as joining a march or reading a book, written to a permanent archive on a public blockchain.
Because it takes a sea of us coming forward to demand change.
Because no matter who you are, you can act too. The end of sexual violence begins with this next act.
Mom, I got it. What are you doing in there?
I got stuff.
Are you a dog?
I wouldn't do that. Have you seen the pliers? Where'd you find those?
It's not your birthday.
Sorry.
Bye, Grandpa.
Bye, Grandpa.
Take care of yourself. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
Creating a legacy takes time, takes dedication, spirit, and a greater vision. That vision starts here at the University of Mississippi. What will you be remembered by? Your character? Your contributions? Your friendship? Your legacy will define who we are now and who we are becoming for our state, our students, and our future. Ole Miss, build your legacy.
This is the moment I knew his future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Yesterday, tech mogul Elon Musk bought the social media company Twitter for $44 billion. Musk had recently become a controlling stockholder in the company. He had plans to join the company's board, but quickly rejected the offer. Musk's purchase was good for the stock market, which ended on a positive note yesterday. It remains to be seen what changes the new ownership will make to the platform. Musk tweeted today that he is against censorship that goes far beyond the law. And in more digital news, competition among streaming service platforms has taken off in recent months, but Americans are cutting back on their streaming. CNN Isabel's Ross has more on the trend.
American households are tightening their budgets, and streaming services are taking a hit.
It's just a really messy moment in the market with changing consumer behaviors.
Last week, Netflix announced it lost 200,000 subscribers in the first quarter and says it expects to lose a huge 2 million subscribers before July. A new survey conducted by research firm Momentive and CNBC found 35% of Americans cut a monthly subscription to rein in their spending, while another 36% are considering it. Another survey done in the UK by research firm Kantar found some services, like Disney Plus, are struggling to keep up with Netflix, which was still first choice for consumers to keep. Experts say it's evidence that Disney Plus is still trying to figure out what people want to watch. The popular ABC show Dancing with the Stars will air exclusively on Disney Plus starting in the fall.
If the only thing that your library has is kids' content, or Marvel content, or Pixar content, there's a difficult question of how do you keep audiences happy?
And it's not just U.S. households cutting back. According to Kantar, people in Britain canceled 1.5 million subscriptions this year.
You have obviously inflation and the war and a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace.
So what else is to blame? Streaming services boomed during the pandemic, but that's changing with a return to normal and inflation rising. Experts also point to a behavioral shift among younger generations.
And YouTube is free. And YouTube's usage ticked up in the U.S. in March 2022 more than Netflix's.
For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Isabel Rosales.
Disney Plus and Netflix have recently announced new and cheaper streaming subscriptions that are supported by ads in order to draw more customers to their platforms. And yesterday, Melissa Lucio, the only Hispanic woman to be on death row, has been granted a stay of execution. She was convicted in Texas more than a decade ago for the death of her 2-year-old daughter, Mariah. Prosecutors called her an abusive mother who is responsible for the head injuries that caused Mariah's death. But Lucio's attorney argues the injuries came from her falling down a staircase in the family's 2-story home. Although set to be executed on Wednesday, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeal on Monday granted the 53-year-old a stay of execution. The case will go back and forth to trial court and be reviewed for new evidence. Lucio's 14 children says she is a loving mother and insists her innocence. U.S. home prices are surging. Reports from the S&P Core Logistics Case-Shiller says a 19.8% price jump over year for February. Home prices in Phoenix led the way for the 33rd consecutive month, while price rising 32.9%. Phoenix was followed by Tampa and Miami, which saw 32.6% and 29.7% gains respectively. Some home buying analysis says the momentum the housing market is seeing could soon be affected by rising inflation and further interest rate hikes. Delta flight attendants will be paid for their work during the boarding period starting in June. Flight attendants at the U.S. airlines are typically paid their hourly rate from the time the aircraft pushes back from the gate to its arrival at the next one. They aren't paid for the time they spend working in between flights. Now, attendants will be paid between $10 and $30 an hour for all of the pre- and post-flight preparations. The reason for pay raise is due to airline asking their crew to work more due to air travel demand. Lawyers in a class action lawsuit against Wells Fargo says the company's discriminatory mortgage practices are, quote, killing black opportunity. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump and lawsuit plaintiffs are calling on Wells Fargo shareholders to approve an independent racial equity audit. Crump has highlighted the pattern of racial discrimination experienced by a series of black Wells Fargo's customers at all stages of the loan process. That includes predatory actions like approving higher loan rates to black customers, as well as fewer opportunities to refinance. Wells Fargo characterizes the lawsuit as, quote, unfounded attacks that won't stand up to scrutiny. The bank added its underwriting practices as consistently applied regardless of a customer race or ethnicity. The U.S. Secretary of Defense traveled to Germany to discuss the Secretary of Ukraine as war rages on. CNN's Gloria Pazmino has the latest on the war.
Time is running out in Ukraine. The United States sought to rally allies Tuesday, promising more support for the war-torn region as part of its ongoing effort to deter Russia's offensive.
The briefings today laid out clearly why the coming weeks will be so crucial for Ukraine. So we've got to move at the speed of war.
U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin spoke at a meeting of defense officials in Germany.
Mr. Putin needs to make a decision to end this conflict. He's the person that started it. It was unjustified.
But Russia is showing no signs of backing down. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres met with Russian President Vladimir Putin Tuesday and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov.
I know that we have today facing a complex situation in Ukraine.
According to the UN, Putin agreed in principle to evacuation of citizens at a steel plant in Mariupol. While U.S. diplomats returned to Ukraine Tuesday for the first time since Russia's invasion, the Pentagon is warning security in Europe remains at stake.
I think the policy of all of our governments together is a free and independent Ukraine.
As talks continue, Russian forces are stepping up their offensive in the south and east of the country. A third mass grave has reportedly been found near Mariupol. According to the city's mayor, Russian soldiers forced residents to take part in mass burials in exchange for food. I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
Land that claims to be an independent county called Transnistria. The locals there are Russian supporters and would likely become Russian troops in the area.
And coming up, the softball and baseball team have games today, and the NBA playoffs are in full swing. Find out who's on the path to win it all up next in sports.
Times during class, and I tell her to talk to him, and it's like, oh, ew.
Yeah.
Never gonna let you go, babe, I'm never gonna let you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR, it's so good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Whatever gets you talking. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
Leading off with softball, Ole Miss hits the road for its final midweek matchup of the season, making the short road trip to Memphis tonight at 6 p.m. Central. The Rebels are coming off a series win in South Carolina, sweeping their first conference opponent on the road since taking all 3 games from Arkansas in 2015. Senior Abby Latham has been on a tear at the plate, recording a home run in 4 of her last 5 games, including a go-ahead grand slam against the Gamecocks. Outfielder Tate Whiteley ranks 5th in the nation with 65 hits. Ole Miss leads the all-time series 7-2 against Memphis. Keeping it on the diamond, Ole Miss takes on rival Mississippi State for the 4th straight game tonight at 6 p.m. Central, this time in Trustmark Park in Pearl, Mississippi for the Governor's Cup. The Rebels and Bulldogs have not played for the Governor's Cup since 2019 due to COVID-19. Ole Miss is seeking its first Governor's Cup victory over MSU since the 2015 season. The Rebels are looking to redeem themselves tonight after losing a tight 3-game series to State over the weekend, but they'll have to do it without sophomore TJ McCants due to tending to an illness in his family. Moving on to track and field, Ole Miss's women's team moved up 4 spots as they were tabbed the number 18 team in the Week 5 outdoor edition of the U.S. Track and Cross Country Coaches Association. This is the best outdoor ranking for the Ole Miss women since Week 6 of the 2017 season when they ranked number 16 in the country. Ole Miss track and field will split for 3 destinations this upcoming weekend, with a handful of distance runners heading to Mississippi State, then several distance relays trekking to Philadelphia for the Penn relays, and the remainder will head to Baton Rouge. Now let's take a look at the hardwood action from last night. The Boston Celtics were able to complete a first-round sweep over the Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving-led Nets on Brooklyn's home floor. The Nets came into the season as championship favorites, but now close their 2021-2022 season as one of the biggest disappointments in NBA history. However, unlike Brooklyn, the Toronto Raptors were able to save their season after a Game 5 win over the Philadelphia 76ers. The Raptors are hoping it won't be their last trip to Philly this season as they try to force a Game 7 with a win this Thursday at home. The Mavericks and Jazz also went head-to-head last night. However, Dallas easily took care of business at home, winning by 25 points, taking a 3-2 series lead. And tonight, the Memphis Grizzlies return home for a crucial Game 5 matchup with the Minnesota Timberwolves. In Game 4 on Saturday, the Timberwolves tied the series at 2 apiece when they defended their home court with a 1-point victory. Yesterday, Grizzlies' third-year point guard Ja Morant was recognized as the league's most improved player. However, shortly after winning the award, Morant revealed on his Instagram that he left the trophy in Desmond Bane's kitchen, a fellow teammate of his. Ja made it known that he believed that the award should have gone to Bane. Man, I wish Ja was my teammate. That's all I got to say. That's all I've got for sports, guys. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at rebel_watch for the latest sports updates.
Thanks, Tyler. Is it a monkey or is it a Batman? Find out more about this cute little guy up next on NewsWatch.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
Look closely at this baby's face. The mark looks like the bat signal, the silhouette of a bat extending its wings, which is used to call Batman when the bad guys are stirring up trouble in Gotham. Batman was born at the Brevard Zoo in Melbourne, Florida on April 15th. Zookeepers aren't sure yet if it's a boy or a girl, but the little one is doing well. With an experienced mom and other members of the spider monkey troop to check in, black spider monkeys are classified as vulnerable to extinction because of the destination of tropical rainforests and hunting. That's all for tonight for NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Kennedy Cooper. Thank you and good night.